can't grow new fruit if you're still holding on to dead branches. Today, I want you to take a moment for yourself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and repeat these words with me. I accept that this chapter is over, and I am ready to move forward. Have you ever wondered why, despite the end of a relationship, that person still seems to live inside of you, like a shadow that never quite fades? It's as if their presence lingers in your thoughts, in the spaces between breaths, in the empty moments that echo their absence. You know the relationship is over, yet emotionally, you feel tethered to something that no longer exists. This emotional pull is more than just memory. It's a force that can keep you anchored in the past, even when you know you need to move on. It's painful, exhausting, and often leaves you questioning why you can't seem to let go. You might ask yourself, why does this still hurt so much? Or, why can't I just release them from my heart? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. We all face the challenge of emotional detachment at some point in our lives. The truth is, detaching from someone emotionally is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it is possible, and it begins with understanding how to free yourself from the chains that hold you to the past. In this video, we will explore 5 transformative rules that will help you not just move on, but heal. These rules are not just about letting go, they are about reclaiming your inner peace, your joy, and your power. You may find yourself asking, why does it still hurt so much? Why does this person still feel so present in my life, even though they are no longer here? It's as though their memory lingers, like an invisible thread tying you to them. Even though the relationship has ended, the pain you're feeling is real, and it's understandable that it doesn't just go away with time. But here's the first rule you need to embrace. Accept the reality of change. When a relationship ends, it can feel as though a part of your life has been taken away. It's not just the end of something familiar, it's the loss of your sense of stability, your future plans, your shared memories. And it can be devastating. It's tempting to try to undo what has happened, to wish for things to go back to how they were. But resisting the change, refusing to accept the end, only prolongs your pain and suffering. Resisting reality makes the wound deeper. Every time you deny that the relationship is over, you remain stuck in that moment of loss. The hurt lingers, sometimes longer than it needs to, because you're holding on to something that is no longer yours. This is where the real healing begins. Acceptance. Acceptance does not mean you no longer care about the person or that the love you once shared disappears. It means that you're no longer clinging to the idea of a future that can never happen. It's about releasing the past, not because it didn't matter, but because you now need to make room for yourself to heal, to grow, and to move forward. It's not easy to accept the end of something so significant, but the truth is, when you allow yourself to accept it, you create the space needed for your healing. Accepting the end doesn't mean you're giving up on what was meaningful, but that you're honoring yourself enough to embrace the future that awaits you, free from the weight of what's no longer there. You can begin this process of acceptance with a simple, powerful affirmation. I accept that this chapter is over, and I am ready to move forward. Saying this to yourself repeatedly can help you start to shift from pain to peace. It's not about forgetting, it's about letting go, about not allowing the past to dictate your present or your future. So, how do you begin? How do you truly accept that this chapter is over, no matter how much it hurts? Step 1. Face the reality. The first step is to stop denying what has happened. Acknowledge that the relationship has ended, no matter how difficult it may be. This doesn't mean you stop feeling the pain, but it does mean you face it head-on, without hiding from the truth. Only when you face reality can you begin the journey of healing. Step 2. Allow yourself to feel. You've likely been running from your emotions, trying to push them down, or hoping they'll simply disappear. But true healing comes when you allow yourself to feel everything you need to feel. The sadness, the anger, the frustration, they are part of the process. Don't rush through these emotions. Sit with them. Let them pass through you. They will not last forever, but they must be felt before they can be released. Step 3. Release false hope. One of the hardest aspects of letting go is the hope that things could somehow go back to the way they were. You may still be holding on to the fantasy of reconciliation, the thought that maybe things can be fixed if you wait long enough. But holding on to that hope only keeps you tied to the past. To move forward, you must let go of this illusion. It's not about abandoning the love or the memories. It's about recognizing that what's over is truly over, and that it's time to focus on your own future. Acceptance is about surrendering to what is, instead of resisting it. It's about recognizing that there is a life beyond this pain, one where you can heal and grow. It's about creating space for new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities. So, take a moment and breathe. Know that it's okay to grieve, but also know that you deserve to move on. Acceptance is the key to emotional detachment. When you accept the reality of the end, you give yourself the permission to heal. You stop carrying the weight of a past that no longer serves you, and instead, start creating a future that honors who you are and who you're becoming. The past is a powerful force. It's a collection of memories, emotions, and experiences that shape who we are. But when a relationship ends, sometimes these memories can feel like chains, binding you to a time and place that no longer serves you. The second rule is simple yet profound. To move forward, you must release your attachment to the past. You might think that by holding on to the past, you're keeping the good moments alive. You remember the laughter, the intimacy, the shared dreams. And for a moment, it feels like you're preserving something precious. But what you might not realize is that this attachment is keeping you stuck. It's preventing you from embracing the present and, more importantly, it's preventing you from stepping into the future you deserve. You might ask yourself, what if I let go? What if I forget everything we had? The truth is, you won't forget. The love you shared, the lessons you learned, the person you once were, they will always be part of you. But you don't need to live in the past to honor those experiences. You don't need to constantly relive every moment to keep them alive in your heart. It's not about forgetting. It's about freeing yourself. Releasing attachment to the past means you stop holding on to the illusion that things could have gone differently. You stop replaying the what-ifs and the if-onlys in your mind. You stop wishing for a second chance that's never going to come. The more you hold on to this attachment, the more it keeps you tethered to a reality that's no longer yours to live. Let's be clear. Letting go is not the same as giving up. Letting go is about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of the past. It's about creating space for your own growth, for your own healing. It's about choosing to live in the present moment instead of being imprisoned by what once was. How do you release your attachment to the past? How do you stop carrying that weight around with you every day? Step 1. Acknowledge the attachment. The first step is to admit that you are holding on to the past. It's easy to convince yourself that you've let go, but the truth often lies deeper. Take a moment to reflect. Are you still holding on to the belief that things could have turned out differently? Are you still secretly wishing for a reunion, even if it's not realistic? Being honest with yourself is crucial in starting the process of release. Step 2. Create new associations. The past holds so much emotional power because it's tied to certain places, people, or activities. If you continue to visit the places where you spent time together or engage in activities that remind you of them, you'll keep reactivating those memories. Start creating new experiences for yourself. Visit new places, try new things, build new associations that are free from the weight of your old relationship. This will help you release the grip the past has on you. Step 3. Practice forgiveness. This doesn't just mean forgiving the other person. It means forgiving yourself too. Let go of any guilt or shame that's holding you to the past. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's about releasing yourself from the emotional chains that have kept you bound to someone else's actions or choices. By forgiving, you free yourself to move forward without the constant pull of resentment or regret. Step 4. Focus on the present moment. So much of our attachment to the past comes from our inability to fully be in the present. We spend too much time thinking about what we've lost or what could have been. Practice mindfulness. Focus on the here and now. What are you grateful for today? What can you appreciate about this moment, right here, right now? The more you immerse yourself in the present, the less power the past will have over you. Releasing attachment to the past isn't easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. But every small step you take toward letting go is a victory. The more you free yourself from the emotional baggage of what was, the more room you make for something new. You're not denying the past. You're simply choosing to let it go so you can live a life that's rich with possibilities. In every relationship, there are moments where we might have said or done things that we regret. We might blame ourselves for the way things turned out, wondering if we could have acted differently, loved better, or avoided certain mistakes. The third rule is about freeing yourself from this cycle of self-blame. Embrace the power of self-forgiveness. When a relationship ends, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of thinking everything was your fault. You replay conversations, actions, and decisions over and over in your mind, trying to make sense of what went wrong. But here's the truth. Holding on to guilt only keeps you stuck in the past. It prevents you from stepping forward into a place of healing and new possibilities. Self-forgiveness isn't about excusing any hurt caused, but rather about giving yourself the grace to move forward, acknowledging that you are human and imperfect. You did the best you could with the emotional capacity and understanding you had at the time. When we don't forgive ourselves, we remain tethered to our mistakes, as if they define us. The weight of this can feel suffocating, especially after a painful breakup. You might feel like you've failed or somehow aren't deserving of peace, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The ability to forgive yourself is one of the most empowering tools in your journey to emotional freedom. Self-forgiveness is not about erasing the past or pretending that things didn't hurt or go wrong. It's about releasing the grip that guilt and shame have on your heart. It's acknowledging your mistakes, but also understanding that those mistakes do not determine your worth. You are not defined by what went wrong or by the parts of you that you wish you could change. Forgiveness is a recognition that, just like anyone else, you deserve compassion and the ability to grow from your experiences. Perhaps you've told yourself, if only I had said this, or I should have done that. These are the voices of self-doubt, keeping you in a loop of regret. But self-forgiveness breaks that loop. It allows you to let go of the should-haves and could-haves. It's realizing that there's no perfect script for relationships. There's no way to foresee every twist and turn, and no way to know how things will ultimately unfold. What matters is that you did the best you could with the resources you had in the moment, and that's something worthy of compassion. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean you condone past actions or ignore the hurt caused. It simply means you release the power that guilt holds over you. You stop allowing those past decisions to dictate how you view yourself today. By letting go of guilt, You create the space for healing, for growth, and for a future where you no longer carry the weight of past mistakes. Imagine what it would feel like to forgive yourself fully, to breathe freely without the constant weight of self-blame, to see yourself as someone who, despite their imperfections, is deserving of love, peace, and transformation. This is the freedom self-forgiveness brings. It's time to recognize that you are more than the mistakes you made. You are not the sum of your wrongdoings or your regrets. You are a person with infinite potential, capable of creating new, positive experiences for yourself. When you forgive yourself, you open the door to new possibilities. You free yourself from the past and allow yourself to move forward without the heavy baggage of regret pulling you back. And as you forgive yourself, you begin to see the world and your future through a different lens. The weight of past mistakes no longer clouds your vision. Instead, you're able to step into your future with clarity and the knowledge that you are deserving of happiness, healing, and all the beautiful opportunities that lie ahead. When a relationship ends, it can feel as if a part of you has been drained, as though your emotional reserves have been completely depleted. The fourth rule is simple but essential. Reclaim your emotional energy. After a breakup, it's easy to lose yourself in the emotional aftermath, constantly replaying conversations, thinking about what could have been, or wondering how things might have turned out differently. But each of these thoughts, if you let them, can pull on your energy, draining you bit by bit. This is the time to reclaim that energy and redirect it toward yourself. To reclaim your emotional energy, you first need to recognize where it's going. Ask yourself, where are you focusing your thoughts? Are they consumed with the past, the what-ifs, or the anger and pain of what happened? When we remain fixated on these emotions, we allow the past to continue taking energy from us long after it's over. Instead, shift your focus back to yourself. The energy that you've been investing in the past, or in thoughts of the other person, needs to be redirected inward. It's time to focus on what you need, what you feel, and what will allow you to heal. Reclaiming your emotional energy means creating space for your own healing process, without the constant tug of past emotions. It means taking back control over your thoughts and feelings, and choosing where to direct your energy. It may help to ask yourself, what makes me feel whole again? This could be anything that nurtures your soul, whether it's spending time with loved ones, diving into a passion, or simply resting and recovering. By refocusing your attention on what brings you joy and peace, you begin to refill the emotional reserves that were drained by the relationship. Reclaiming your emotional energy also means setting boundaries. When a relationship ends, people often continue to hold on to the emotional residue, even when there's no real need. This might look like continuing to check on your ex on social media, holding on to old conversations, or letting them occupy space in your mind. These actions, though subtle, continue to pull your energy away from yourself. Setting clear boundaries, whether that means unfollowing or muting your ex, or consciously choosing to stop reliving the past, becomes essential for protecting your emotional well-being. You deserve to heal, and part of healing is letting go of any energy that no longer serves you. The process of reclaiming your emotional energy is not about pushing away the emotions you feel, but about giving yourself permission to feel them without letting them control your life. Grief, anger, sadness. These emotions are natural, but they don't define you. Allow yourself to experience them, but don't let them dictate your every thought or action. You have the power to decide how much energy you give them. One way to begin is by taking small but deliberate actions. Maybe it's journaling to process your emotions, or taking a walk in nature to clear your mind. Whatever it is, make it something that brings your focus back to you. These actions help you regain control over your energy, returning it to the place where it truly belongs, within yourself. In reclaiming your emotional energy, you also reclaim your strength. It's easy to feel weak and vulnerable after a breakup, but in truth, you are stronger than you realize. Every step you take toward regaining your energy is a step toward your own empowerment. You are taking back control, not just over your emotions, but over your life. You are deciding to invest your time, your thoughts, and your energy in ways that contribute to your healing and growth. As you release the grip of the past and reallocate your emotional energy, something remarkable happens. You start to feel more like yourself again. The weight begins to lift. You may not feel completely healed yet, but you're no longer weighed down by the burden of someone else's energy or the remnants of a relationship that no longer exists. Reclaiming your emotional energy is the first step in your journey toward emotional freedom and healing. As you take the steps toward emotional detachment, it's crucial to understand that healing requires more than just letting go. The fifth rule is about creating space for something new, and that requires cultivating new habits for a new beginning. When a relationship ends, you're not just mourning the loss of the person. You're also mourning the routines, the patterns, and the emotional structures that were built around that relationship. Your life, in many ways, may feel like it's been turned upside down, leaving you with a sense of emptiness, like there's nothing to replace the place they once held in your heart. But here's the truth. A new beginning doesn't happen by accident. It happens through conscious choices and new patterns of behavior. This chapter is all about action, because in order to move forward, you must actively create a life that reflects your new reality. Healing begins when you make the decision to shift your energy, not just in your thoughts, but in your daily habits. The key to creating a new chapter is filling your days with activities that bring meaning, growth, and joy. Start small. You don't have to change everything all at once, but by consciously introducing new habits into your life, you begin to replace the old patterns that kept you anchored to the past. Maybe you start a new hobby, sign up for a class, or take time to care for your body in a way you never did before. These actions signal to your mind and body that it's time to move forward, and that you're capable of creating a life that is fulfilling on your own. In the process, you're not only redirecting your focus, but you're also reinforcing your sense of self-worth. Each new habit you cultivate is a declaration to yourself. I am worthy of a life that is fulfilling, abundant, and full of joy, even without this person. When you take the initiative to enrich your life with new habits, you're affirming your value and your capacity to thrive independently. Perhaps you can start by setting one intention each day. It could be as simple as deciding to wake up and go for a walk, to meditate for 5 minutes, or to take a few moments to appreciate the beauty around you. These small actions create momentum, gradually filling the space once occupied by grief with new experiences and new possibilities. Creating new habits also allows you to reconnect with parts of yourself that may have been neglected during the relationship. Maybe you had dreams, desires, or passions that you put aside for the sake of the relationship. Now is the time to rediscover them. Reconnecting with your inner self and aligning your actions with your true desires is a powerful way to regain control and confidence in your life. But cultivating new habits isn't just about focusing on the positive. It's also about creating boundaries. One of the best habits you can develop is learning to say no. No to things that don't serve you. No to people who bring negativity, and no to anything that drains your energy. Boundaries are not just a way to protect your peace. They're a way to reclaim your emotional sovereignty. Another powerful habit is practicing gratitude. After a breakup, it's easy to get caught up in what you've lost, but shifting your focus to what you still have, your health, your strength, your potential, helps you cultivate a mindset of abundance. Gratitude isn't just about appreciating the good things. It's about recognizing your own resilience, your own capacity for growth. The more new habits you integrate into your daily routine, the more you'll begin to feel the shift. You'll start to notice that your life, once dominated by the presence of someone else, is now filled with new possibilities. These new habits give you back your power. They remind you that you are not defined by what you've lost, but by what you're creating. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and there may be days when you feel like you've taken a step back. But every small habit you cultivate, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the time, is a piece of the puzzle that leads to your transformation. By continuing to build a life filled with intention and purpose, you'll begin to feel more alive, more in control, and more ready to welcome the new chapter that awaits. The sixth rule is one of the most important yet often overlooked steps in the journey of emotional detachment. Trust the healing process. It's tempting, isn't it, to want to fast forward through the pain, to skip over the days of heartache and confusion. After a breakup, it feels like you're caught in an emotional whirlwind, unsure of what's real and what's just a projection of your own hurt. You might even question if things will ever feel normal again, or if you'll always carry the weight of this emotional baggage. But here's the hard truth. Healing isn't a linear process. It doesn't happen on a schedule, and it doesn't happen by force. There's no magical formula for erasing the pain, no shortcut to feeling whole again. Healing requires patience, and above all, it requires trust. Trust that the process is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust that with every tear you shed, with every moment of pain you endure, you are slowly being rebuilt, piece by piece. What you may not realize in the midst of the storm is that your soul is doing exactly what it needs to do in order to heal. You're not stuck. You're not failing. You're in the process of healing, and it's important to recognize that this process is both natural and necessary. Every day you're getting closer to a version of yourself that is stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with who you truly are. The key is surrender. Let go of the need to control the pace of your healing. There will be days when it feels like you've made no progress, or like you're slipping backwards. But the truth is, these are just part of the process. The ups and downs are part of your growth, and they're part of the path to emotional freedom. It's natural to feel impatient or frustrated, but healing isn't something you can rush. It's like the seasons. Winter must come before spring. You cannot force the flowers to bloom before they're ready. So why would you try to rush your own healing? Why would you try to bypass the necessary stages of grief, sadness, and reflection? Trusting the process also means trusting yourself. You might feel broken right now, but you are far stronger than you think. Every time you choose to face your emotions, to sit with your pain instead of running from it, you are proving to yourself that you can handle this. You are demonstrating your ability to heal, one step at a time. During the healing process, there are moments when it will feel as though the pain will never end. In those moments, it's important to remind yourself that healing is not about getting rid of the pain, but about learning to live with it. It's about finding a way to coexist with the hurt, to integrate it into your life without letting it define you. You don't need to erase the past to move forward. You simply need to learn how to carry it with you in a way that no longer weighs you down. One powerful way to trust the process is to embrace self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself for feeling sad or lost or confused. Allow yourself to experience those emotions fully, without the need to rush through them. The more you allow yourself to feel, the quicker you will find that the intensity of the emotions begins to fade. It's a paradox. By allowing yourself to feel deeply, you actually create space for healing to take place. During this time, It's important to remind yourself that there is no right way to heal, and there is no fixed timeline. Healing happens on its own terms. It might take a few weeks, a few months, or even a few years for you to fully let go of the past. The key is to stay present, to trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. It's also helpful to remind yourself that this journey, though difficult, is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. The pain you are experiencing now will eventually be transformed into wisdom. Your heart is learning lessons that will serve you in the future. And one day, you'll look back on this period of your life and realize that it was a turning point, one that set you on the path to becoming your truest self. As you move forward, remember this: trust the healing process, even when you don't understand it. Trust that everything you're going through is part of the bigger picture, and that each moment of discomfort brings you closer to a future where you are at peace with yourself and with your past. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning how to be whole again, even with the pieces of you that were broken along the way. It means trusting yourself enough to know that, even in your pain, you are exactly where you need to be. Remember, it's not just about moving on. It's about moving forward with purpose and clarity. You have the power to shape your own story. This is your time. If this message resonated with you, take the next step in your journey. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming videos that will continue to guide you towards emotional freedom and self-discovery. I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know how you're embracing these steps to create a new vision for your life. And if you found this video helpful, consider using the Super Thanks button to show your support. Your contribution helps create even more empowering content for you and others who are on the path of transformation. You're not alone in this. Let's continue growing together. You've got this.